Experiential learning is really important for me, just because it's an important way in which I believe that learning occurs. It really helps students to grasp the concepts that we're grappling with in the academic literature. Experiences help raise certain questions or hypotheses that we can then go out and explore and collect more data and information about.
As the FUMA teams take the field or the court, or even enter into the arena of debate competition, the often heard call to strive for victory has become, do it for Dwayne.
A lot of people learn by drawing on their own personal experiences. So when you can connect what we're reading in the academic and scholarly literature with a concrete experience, it will help reinforce the concepts that we're studying from the academic literature.
Think about that. Just think to yourself. Now ask yourself, how would you feel about this individual engaging fully in society, keeping all of their civil rights, if they stole a cell phone? Or if they stole, let's say, food for their child?
Any experiential learning activity in my class is going to be directly linked to something that we are studying in the academic literature. And so, for example, one of the most relevant concepts and areas of study today is with regards to how much of politics is driven by hyperpartisanship or partisan tribalism, if you will, and partisan polarization. We go out on learning trips where we can ask questions and actually see these concepts in practice. I begin the course basically with a couple of very simple questions on the first day. Just asking students to think about what is a political or civic problem or challenge that they think needs action, or what issues they think would benefit from political or civic engagement. And so then they're assigned to go out and do some research to think about their own interests and to start putting together some ideas about what they want to work on. I then meet with every single student individually, and the first question that I ask them is, what are your interests? And I ask them what their skills are, and I also ask them what both their academic and their career objectives are. What we want to try to do is work on developing a proposal that matches all of those things.
It's a broad field, and she wanted us to experience that firsthand by conducting a sort of civic engagement project. How should I focus this project when I have these sorts of interests, democratic deliberation as it regards redevelopment efforts in Charlottesville? It's very much a procedural project. I don't think anybody in the course was, doing it weekend of or something like that, because that just wasn't how the course was structured. And I think that's the best way.
Hearing from political leaders at the state capitol was juxtaposed by going out to the Chickahominy tribe and hearing from the chief, Steve Adkins.
Certain issues that feel far away aren't so, because I feel like when a lot of people, especially on the East Coast, think about Native American issues, they're thinking about reservations way out in the West.
Our story's been held hostage, and the more we tell our story, the more people want to hear it. When you read it in the history books, they've glossed over the pain and suffering and romanticized it to the point people don't know. There's a dearth of knowledge in the political system about Native people. We have probably 30,000 Indians in Virginia, so we can affect the outcome of an election.
This is like a straight up phone.
We're going to go through everything you need to know about the 2018 midterms in 15 minutes. We're going to talk through the basic facts of it, why, if you're a Democrat, you should feel optimistic, the alternative case of why you might feel optimistic if you're a Republican, and then just some general notes about how to think about midterms more effectively.
Do you have any advice on what we should be paying attention to or what skills we should be developing?
And basically what I learned a lot about is probability theory, stochastic systems, statistics, time series analysis, things like that, just a lot of math.
How much it costs to get reelected. So depending on your congressional district, you need $1 million to $10 to $20 million. One guy from Minnesota, he was a Democrat, and he says, I'm not gonna run anymore. I'm not a telemarketer. He's a telemarketer, because that's what they do.
Trying to work through some of the major challenges we face in political or civic settings by working through, for example, a mindset of political compromise, or trying to engage in practical measures to revive civility.
And we actually have signed a civility pledge in our freshman class. And as far as I know, we've kept it. No one's bashed each other or anything like that.
Since I come from a liberal background, it was really interesting to have a conversation with the Republican congressman. And it was really, really exciting to hear that, he and his fellow newcomers to Congress were really interested in, working across the aisle.
Information leads to reason, but emotion leads to action.
I found him to be a really, really charismatic figure.
They already have a lot to contribute. Then they can also make an original contribution themselves within the community. And I think that's really part of some of the university objectives in terms of trying to more broadly engage with the community here in Charlottesville.
Another great thing about the political and civic engagement class, because it's really on this zeitgeisty cusp of kind of community engagement and getting in on the ground level and stuff like that. That's really exciting to hear. And so getting into this stuff right as it seems like a lot of people are getting into this stuff.
Drawing from our own case studies, essentially, our own personal case studies, and that helps sort of reinforce new concepts that we are taking in and helps us to really grasp those concepts.